Well, I took a day off. I had to. My mental health was getting to me a little bit. We went over the story, and if you haven't seen the playlist for the how I got here at this point, the story of Cinder Shadow at this point, go watch that playlist because you want to know more about why I've dove into a fandom that I am never leaving at this point, because I got to say it's making me quite happy, and it's a lot different of a situation overall. Now, I was going to talk about a few things here, but one that's bubbled up here on the surface is the outlook. What is the PR or the public relationship look of the furry fandom? And this is something I've been trying to understand. I know this was a question I asked Dexter during that interview that we did. And recently it's been brought up a little bit more. There's a situation that kind of came together. I don't know the whole details about it, but it's furries or people that have a persona that do some very, very strange and disparaging things. And like in any fandom, you have a lot of very, very nasty people that are hiding amongst them. You have, I think back to the Magic the Gathering days with the judge situation that went down, where it was found out that that over a dozen judges, and this is where the looking stopped, but over a dozen judges were on offender lists, weren't supposed to be around kids. There was a lot of very disparaging things. And I just think back to that and go, well, that doesn't count everybody in every fandom or in every aspect of our lives. That's not everyone out there. And the disparagingness of it all is literally just a small one or two people that have very distasteful things and do very nasty things. That's why we have a criminal justice system. That's why we have a system where people go to jail and they deal with these types of things. It's not an all-encompassing thing. I've seen a lot of people talk about how the furries get a lot of hate, and I think it's just a lot of it gets showcase a lot more, because if you look online, the furry fandom in particular is mostly online. A lot of people are online and they do a lot of things online, so everything just kind of perpetuates more in that sense. If you took away the online world, it wouldn't be so up there in people's face. You wouldn't see so much of it. This fandom is a very old one, and they started back in the 70s, for Christ's sakes, and it's not one that it's not one that's going away, but it's also been a very small subject of fandoms. And like anime and like Star Wars, like sci-fi fandoms, it's very similar in that sense, where it was a nice tight-knit group, and then it exploded. They went a lot more mainstream, and there is a large fear right now that the furry fandom is going mainstream. When you look at like places like Spirit Halloween right now, there's a big thing online about it where you're finding these masks, and look at the mask that was sent to me. We have the Amazon mask. I'm now displaying it in the background of my set. If you went over to Twitch yesterday, I did do a shorter live stream trying to play with the avatar painting and all this other stuff for VR chat, trying to get a more of a customized version of an avatar there. But I have that mask now in the background because that was something that kind of started and snowballed into something more, but it's not really at the same point. You're seeing these masks, you're seeing a lot of things kind of sort of targeting towards this fandom, and you're seeing a lot of people talking about it, and they're like, well, is this going mainstream? Well, the conventions are becoming large, and this morning I woke up seeing that there was someone that went and fursuited at a baseball game, and then they ended up on national TV. That's pretty unique in itself, because it's not something you see every day, and that's the difference. Now, Is it going mainstream? Can anybody be a furry? You can turn around and pick up a book and say, okay, I now have a fursona, and this is what they do. This is their likes, the dislikes. It's much like the same thing as picking up a Dungeons and Dragons manual, the player's guide, and building your character in that sense. So yes, anybody can pick it up and anybody can do it. But it's those that find their niche, those that find that it's a very beneficial thing for themselves and for everyone else, that are going to really stick with it and become something more of themselves. Those that actually do something more for themselves. And that's part of it. It's a very personal choice to pick up this hobby. You know, I've started drawing, and I'm actually surprisingly not half bad. I can see it. I have people actually stopping me now and telling me, hey man, what you're doing is really unique and cool, and you're decently good at it. And I've been drawing for under 60 days right now. And just to have that little bit of feedback saying what I'm doing is something more. And that's where the uniqueness of all of this really does come down. You know, you sit there, you fursuit, you go to a baseball game, you get on national TV, you do something and you post it online and people suddenly go, hey, that's really cool. And that's where it's a lot different overall. Yeah, we all live normal lives. The majority of the people that are in a fandom, you have different tastes and different likes, and it moves to better yourself in that sense. Now, I've recently looked at things and said, you know what, let's be more positive over the stuff that we see, and the negative stuff that we see, let's cast it aside. And I think that is going to write home a lot more. You're going to see a lot more things out there in the world that are just way more positive, and that little bit of positivity goes a long way at this point. Sure, we remember the negative things. We remember the bad things. They traumatize us in our head. But we also live through the bad things and live through the trauma and live through the difficulties of life. And we get up the next day, we go to work, we do our job, and we move on from that. And we just heal. Yes, every little thing tugs at your soul or tugs at your feathers, and we'll pluck them out. But if you let that really devour you, you won't have anything left for yourself. And that is the biggest draw that I have had in the last little while. That's why I took a day off yesterday, because I knew where my headspace was, and it wasn't good. And I just sat there. I was like, you know what? I just need to take a day to decompress, to kind of understand what I've realized with myself, and where I want to go, what I want to do with this hobby, and with something more in the future. What I want to do is just make people happy and make people have a fun, exciting time in their lives. And I think that's where I'm going to sit. Anyway, I'm your proud Canadian Phoenix, Cinder Shadow. I'm signing off here. Have yourselves a great day. Don't forget to like and subscribe.